This is it right here.
Combining a team of reporters, columnists, and commentators.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Are you serious?
Jack Ebling has brought thought-provoking discussion.
What are you doing?
That's a damn coaching mistake!
Opinion.
The customer is the one who decides when the future gets here.
Oh, no!
The ship is on fire!
You have to check the report.
Are you kidding me?
That game was fixed.
And overall infotainment.
I'll take Jim Harbaugh.
What has he done?
Crazy Cooter coming at you!
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't you ever come back here again!
No arguments. Those are called ass tunes.
So buckle up.
You talking to me?
It's time for The Drive with Jack Ebling.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 3101, the Hump Day edition of The Drive. And once again, without the Hall of Fame voice you are accustomed to hearing, Jack Ebling will be back on Friday from a much-deserved family vacation. Until then, it's your producer and hopefully your favorite masshole, Boston Rob, back with you. And I got to tell you, thanks to all of you out there and the tremendous guests that I've been able to talk to here during this week with all of you, have been able to join me. It has been truly a great pleasure to be a part of The Drive in this way. And it is most certainly going to continue today. And speaking of great guests, that brings us right to the top of the show, and our guests want to bring them right in. There is a ton to talk about, and who better to do that with than Paul Shaheen with us, a member of our esteemed Hockey Roundtable, our Chicago sports contributor as well, has the pulse on many a thing, and I am so excited to have this 20 minutes or so to talk with Paul. Paul, first off, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Robin. There have been so many great guest hosts in history. David Steinberg, Joan Rivers, Don Rickles, Frank Sinatra to Johnny Carson. But you, sir, yes. Rob Bennett in the house for Jack Ebling. I mean, the comparisons are undeniable, Rob. It's wonderful. Thank you for the honor of letting me ride along. It sounds like everything is going just great. While Jack rolls down a barrel in Niagara Falls or wherever he is.
Whatever he's doing, who knows? But the host, I will tell you this, the host of any show is only as good as his guests, and it has been amazing. And you most certainly, there's a reason that I wanted to kick off the show with you right at 4 p.m. today, Eastern Time here in downtown Lansing at Spotlight Radio Studios. I couldn't think of a better person to start the show off because my goodness, my man, we have so much to talk about, including World Cup, Michigan State, and of course we can't go too far without talking some hockey, but some late-breaking news speaking about hockey in your neck of the woods. Connor Bedard, what can you tell us?
Connor Bedard injured his left shoulder in I almost said training exercise, but in a training practice. Maybe it was a training exercise. In a training practice back home in Vancouver about a week or so ago, Rob, and there was video of it. There was some fans in the seats that were watched as it happened. Couldn't tell exactly how it happened, but you could see he skated off the ice wincing in pain. And let's not forget, earlier last year, Connor Bedard missed time when he hurt his right shoulder. Yeah. So now he's got two shoulders to deal with, and Hawk fans now have two shoulders to cry on. Let's put it that way. So now this throws this throws a wrench into a lot of different things. It looks like he's gonna have surgery.
Yep.
He is going to. It'll be probably a 4-month recovery. More than likely, he will have probably a month off. He'll probably miss the first month of the season. And for all of that, he had. By the way, just for clarity, Rob, forgive me, just checking the headlines. He did have the left shoulder surgery, so that is completed. I said a moment ago he's going to have it. Just for accuracy, he has had it done. Emily Kaplan was one of the first reporters from ESPN to report this, so give her due credit, of course. So it's a big deal, and because what makes this even a bigger. Well, obviously he's the star of the Hawks, but even more so, Rob, is all the drama going on in the off season. He is now, his 3-year rookie contract is up, so he's an unrestricted free agent. someone could come along and give him an offer sheet. Not likely, especially not now.
Right.
So now the wonder is, what is he going to sign for? Is he going to wait? I just talked to an NHL insider before we went on the air. Why? Because I want to be as prepared as possible, Rob, when I come on the radio.
God bless.
And
God
he
bless
thinks this could certainly delay his signing. Because if you're Connor Bedard, let's just be honest, and his representative is Don Meehan, one of the best, crustiest, most aggressive agents in all of the NHL, but a good guy just the same. Why would they want to sign now? I mean, the Hawks could just kind of softly, or not so softly, use this as leverage against a signing. He's going to get his $14-15 million regardless. So this could probably delay this and put this off for a while. So this is a big deal. I know we'll get to hockey in a bit, but obviously, last week with the whole Leo Carlsson offer sheet from the Flyers and all the financial whirlwind that has caused in that conversation. So this certainly adds to the conversation. It certainly adds to the narrative, and it certainly adds to the nervousness of many Hawk fans here in Chicago for sure.
Okay, with Connor Bedard out at least a couple of months. I want to reiterate, this is not a season-ending surgery. But he will be out, 3 to 4 months, if I read that correctly? Is that the timetable?
The expectation is about 4 months, and more than likely to miss the first half of the season. Now, again, hey, listen, if you're going to miss time, you might as well miss it early in the season, certainly than later in the season. So this all could work out very, very well. But it's always nervous, right, when you've had two main injuries. And Bedard's had his share. Like, you remember a couple of years ago, he got clanged by a Jersey defenseman as he was coming in, and he had to wear the college hockey mask for a few weeks as well. So the kid isn't afraid to get his feet dirty, get his feet wet. That's get dirty and go in the dirty areas. That's for sure. So we'll see where this goes, but certainly nervy times for Hawks fans right now.
Yeah, no question. When healthy, one of the young stars of the NHL, no question about that. Now, my question to you, who needs to pick up the slack? I wouldn't imagine with the productivity that Connor can bring when healthy, it can't all fall onto one person, right? I mean, that might be too much to ask. So who on that roster, or maybe someone that's not on the roster, would have to... Where's especially the scoring punch and the scoring threat, where does that come from?
How about everybody?
How about
It's a tie between everybody, Rob. No, seriously. Everybody is going to have to contribute. Listen, now, of course, the other big signing, the big story here in Chicago is Bowen Byram, a defenseman who is a rising star. Maybe not a number one defenseman, but a very, very good defenseman who is eager to take on that role, and he's excited to come here. The Hawks, you recall, a couple of weeks ago, traded the fourth overall pick for him, and they eventually signed him to a $12 million deal. Hawk fans were howling over that. They thought, why on earth would you give up the fourth overall pick for this guy who hasn't proven himself yet? All I will say is people are convinced it's not going to work. I'm not convinced it isn't. I think if you're the Hawks and you're trying to build and you're sick and tired of being dead to last or close to last in the NHL, you got to try something. You got to take a risk, and I think this is a risk we're taking. So he is certainly going to be a guy that's going to be looked at. An old Wolverine, Frank Nazar, is certainly going to be called upon, without a doubt. Frondell, the young Swede who is coming in. They've got a Russian forward coming in as well. It's going to have to come from the defense. Spencer Knight has to keep it strong in net. They're going to be looking to all these guys. Ryan Green, who was probably one of the second-best second-round picks I can think of in the last couple of years, a Boston University product. He has been terrific as well. So, but you know what? The Hawk fans, listen, the luster and the lore of the 3 Stanley Cups from the aughts is beginning to wear out, and people are starting to get a little impatient. And it's been a bit of a playoff drought right now. So when is that going to change? The Hawks maybe were thinking it could change last year. It certainly and absolutely did not. Are the playoffs in the picture this coming season? I'm still not convinced, but they certainly have to get a step. Building and drafting is all well and good, but the Hawks need to make a step. They needed to take a chance, and I think that's what they did with Bowen Byram. So to your initial question, Rob, it's going to take a village really for everybody to really pick it up. They've got some other. Dick Lardis is a great OHL scorer. He's coming in, and then a few years down the road, you hope some of the draft picks from the last couple of years come through, like Mason West. Again, another risk. football player, but hockey player too, going to Michigan State.
That's
Let's
right.
see how he can develop over the next few years. I don't anticipate a guy like him is going to come in the next year or two. He's got to develop. But the other one, Rob, and I saved this for last, and this is another thing where Hawk fans have just gotten so upset over, and I hate to say it, but Artie Leshnoff, the second overall pick from a couple seasons ago, played the 1 year at Michigan State. I think he came out too early. Because Ivan Demidov of the Montreal Canadiens was drafted in the same year, and he's doing so well.
Yes.
Artie Leshnoff is just getting pilloried, and I think unfairly so. He's a young defenseman. If there was one fault, I would say he came out too early. The Hawks signed him too early.
Yeah.
He really needs to step it up. Now, again, Bedard's the offenseman. Leshnoff's the defense. You're asking me who has to step up. Well, it's got to come from everybody. The only way you can create offense is be good in your defensive zone.
That's right.
So, a long story longer. Forgive me for the answer. Everybody's going to have to really chip in and make it meaningful here for the Blackhawks, especially when their star is out and probably going to be out for a little while.
Yeah, no question. And speaking of, going to change topics. We'll get back to hockey, of course. You mentioned Michigan State and what a historic night Michigan State hockey program had at the draft. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But speaking of a historic, this brings me now to the World Cup, the World's Game. And we'll talk about the United States here in just a minute, who fell to Belgium 4-1 earlier this week. I'm so happy I got you on to talk about this World Cup tournament because now I'm going to turn 51 this year, okay? And I am not, and I will never claim to be a football or soccer here in the United States expert. I will never be that. But when the World Cup comes on, as far back as I could remember, man, I was glued to the television, right? So I've seen a few World Cups from afar. And I can't remember, and maybe you can correct me here, but the competitiveness of this World Cup, the between these nations, very few blowouts in my mind. A lot of extra time between matchups, so many great stories in this World Cup. I can't remember a more competitive World Cup than what I have seen and since I began watching it. What give me a couple words or maybe a sentence that you would explain this World Cup to people that maybe aren't paying attention to it as much as they should.
I'll give you 2 words, Rob. Cape Verde.
Yeah.
One of the small minnows of the world, not only geographically and what have historically, but also certainly in soccer. They were certainly one of the beneficiaries of the fact that FIFA has expanded this tournament to 48 teams. Now, some people like that. Some people can't stand it. I think I might be on the latter crowd. Yeah. But you can't deny Cape Verde comes in and they draw with Spain 0-0. They draw with Saudi Arabia 0-0. Spain obviously a much stronger side. But how about this? Argentina had to go. Lionel Messi and the Argentinians, 3-time World Cup champions, the defending World Cup champions, had to go to the 111th minute before they could put Cape Verde away. So that speaks to the competitive nature. Do I still think there's too many teams? Probably, but that does not take away that some of the amazing things that have happened in this World Cup. And Rob, to your point, the atmosphere is wonderful. Even our great friend Neil Koepke, who we have finally converted to watching soccer. I've always said to Neil, you've got to go to a game and sit in the stands at an English Premier League game, which I've had the privilege of doing a few times. And when you're there, the game moves so much quicker. The crowds are so great. Some of the sarcastic chants we can't even talk about on the air, Rob, but they're so good.
I don't need the FCC coming down on me guest hosting the drive.
No, we can't. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at over a burger and a beer. Yeah. But be that as it may, no, the atmosphere has been wonderful, and talk about the comebacks, Rob. To your point, I mean, my goodness.
Yes.
The latest example. Argentina down 2-0 to Egypt, the Pharaohs. Mo Salah, the great now former Liverpool striker. Boom! At 77th minute in, I believe it's 2-0 Egypt, and Argentina wins 3-2. That's just the way this tournament has gone. There's been some great performances. There's been some great crowds. How they're affording the tickets, Rob, I'll never know. Way beyond our pay grade, wouldn't you say? But now we're down to the final 8. France versus Morocco. That's a redo of the last World Cup quarterfinal. Spain versus Belgium, the team that knocked off the U.S., aforementioned U.S. The one I'm looking forward to, England versus Norway, that's going to be positively delicious.
Yes.
England versus Mexico was just an incredible affair. And then Argentina versus Switzerland. Switzerland that got by Colombia yesterday on penalties. That was amazing. And there's just going to be there have been great performances. There will continue to be great performances. And how about Norway? Now, listen, Rob, to your point about people sometimes follow and many people don't follow soccer, you don't have to be a soccer follower to know that Brazil is a dominant force in soccer. When Norway knocked out Brazil, the 5-time champions, that is attention-grabbing. And Norway and their Erling Haaland, the big, strong, burly forward who plays for Manchester City, he is now on 7 goals. Lionel Messi leads the tournament with 8. There's lots to talk about. Hopefully at this point, Rob, now we're down to the final 8. We can get past all the noise in FIFA. We can get past all the noise with the U.S. team and the red card and the controversy. And now we can just enjoy the games, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
And we'll get to the United States here in a second. But my pick of this whole thing is I'm in a pool here. My pick in the whole. Argentina, how many more lives do they have? I ask you that. Because that was my pick. I need to know.
I think they're right there. I think they can get past Switzerland. Switzerland's a strong side, but I don't think they can keep up with the Argentinians. Norway, England is a pick-em. I think Norway may have an edge there. I see Spain getting past Belgium. I don't see Morocco getting past France. France is just probably still the best team in the tournament with Mbappe and what have you.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes. No lead is safe, Rob. We've been talking about that in the hockey season all year. It now applies to soccer. No lead is safe. Don't turn the TV off. Anything can happen. It should be appetizing the rest of the way.
Love it. All right, you mentioned the United States. You mentioned all the hoopla with the red card and the grand scheme of things, right? I mean, it really didn't matter. I mean, Belgium is a very good team. Let's face that. And the United States decided to have one of its worst games at the worst time. Am I right? Would you agree to a point to that?
I think so, and you have to wonder. It's a perfectly fair question. Of course, the coach will deny it, the players will deny it, but how can you not think that maybe this whole thing was a distraction, Rob? I just don't know how.
Sure.
I know they're professionals. I know they have to zone the whole thing out, but they get on the field. And by the way, speaking of chant, now we can't repeat some chants. But you love the playfulness of the Belgian fans. The American team comes on the field, and all the Belgian fans have red cards in their hands.
I mean, love it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Even if you're an American soccer fan, you got to find the humor in that. That was really, really good. But no, Rob, and this is hard because again, we're Americans, we're American fans. We want to see the U.S. do well. But what would it have been like if Folarin Balogun had scored a goal? He was a suspended player.
Right.
No matter what you may feel about whether he should or should not have gotten the red card, you can easily have that debate. But what if he scores or is an impact player in that game, and he really wasn't? In fact, the only thing he did of meaning was unfortunately against his old team. He had a foul that led to a direct free kick that allowed Belgium to get to score one of their goals.
Yeah.
So he was not impactful in a positive way. But just imagine if the U.S. had won and he had been impacted. There would have been just so many recriminations and all these different things. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel bad for the American team, only in the sense that they're in the middle of this. They're not the ones trying to know. So it makes for an uncomfortable thing. But, the bigger picture, Rob, is where is U.S. soccer going? Is U.S. better than they've been over the last 10 or 15 years? I think they're getting better in many respects, but they're still not quite catching up to where they need to be.
Well,
they still have some ways to go, and hope you get better.
If you're an American fan, right, I mean, they had several players that can play on the big stage. You couldn't say, I don't know if you could say that in years past with the United States team. I mean, when you look at the roster, I mean, there was more, I believe there was, minus the whole hoopla of everything with the red card. I mean, this most certainly, when you sit back, yes, it's disappointing, right? But when you sit back and see how they played up until that point against Belgium, man, if I'm a U.S. soccer team, the future most certainly is bright to me. You got to be pretty pleased in what transpired. I mean, they got out of the knockout round for the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, since 2002.
That's exactly right. Now, you can argue maybe the competition wasn't as strong
Not their
as
fault.
it might have been in the past because of not their fault at all. They get past Turkey, they get past Paraguay, and that's not a lightweight Paraguay. They knocked off Germany. Let's not forget that.
And they did it convincingly in a way, right? Would you agree?
And an opening game too. I mean, all the nerves you might imagine there might be in an opening game, but they did it well. They were pretty immaculate in that game. Yeah, they gave up 2 goals. Now, mind you, I want to correct myself. I mentioned they got past Turkey. That was actually the third game that didn't mean anything. They ended up losing that game, but they sat out a number of their regulars.
Sure.
But the point is, they did what they needed to do. They got past a very game Bosnia-Herzegovina side by winning 2-0. But Belgium was obviously the best test. That was the biggest test, and unfortunately, they didn't quite get it. Right there in Seattle, which is one of the best monolith soccer stadiums for U.S. soccer. I mean, so many stadiums where the U.S. has played in the past, if they're playing Mexico, no offense, 2/3 of the crowd's rooting for Mexico. Yep. But in Seattle, it's a hometown crowd in every shape and form, and they just didn't quite get there. I wonder if the distraction was there. Is this the best U.S. team we've ever fielded? The Wall Street Journal suggested that the other day. I'm not entirely sure. You go back to 2002, Tim Howard and Landon Donovan and Dempsey and those folks. That could have been arguably, what the soccer folk like to call the golden generation, if you will. Yep. But the hope is that the U.S. can continue to build, continue to grow, bring in strong coaching like they have right now, and continue to get better as MLS grows. And I'm a big MLS fan. As MLS continues to grow, and as well as not only continue to allow guys like Pulisic continue to play for those top teams in Europe. Pulisic plays for AC Milan, of course. Right. So those are all critical things. Just continue to slowly get better, and better. You certainly wish the U.S. went further because this was a chance to do it on their home sheet. Very difficult to win on the road, heaven knows. They're going to be in Europe and South America, the next one, and then Saudi Arabia is probably going to get the one after that, is what it seems to be. So we'll see where the American side goes. Again, a good showing for themselves, but still steps to make before they really get into the deep end conversation of the best in the world.
Yes. Oh, for sure. And most certainly there is much to be excited about, no question, for U.S. soccer as we move into the future, for sure. And speaking of things to be excited about, our next we got so many subjects to get to. Doing a hell of a job. Thank you so much.
I'm changing. Anytime you're ready, Rob. I'm talking too much here.
No, I'm changing all this up on you. You're doing a heck of a job. I appreciate it. But speaking of exciting times, this brings us to Michigan State University. Yes. And the big news this week about Kevin Guskiewicz staying at Michigan State as the president of the university. Just your thoughts, my personal thoughts. I've been saying it all week since the news broke, right before we went on the air on Monday. Man, I just feel like overall, and yes, you're going to get some people that are on the fence, no matter what, but overall, I most certainly look at it as a win for the green and white. What do you think?
I think so. It's unfortunate it came to this, but I get the impression, Rob, and I'm sure you do too. You're way closer to the situation than I am, as all our friends are there. But I got a feeling a lot of people picked up the phone and called the president and said, would you reconsider? I'm sure Tom Izzo was involved. I'm sure many people involved in the university were involved. I hear maybe there were even some letters that were written, pleading with him to reconsider, because there was a lot that got done, not just athletically, but also academically.
Yes.
One of the big initiatives that I'm aware of is, and I do health insurance for a living, so these are the sorts of things I pay attention to, but the whole merger of the Michigan State medical schools, which was a big deal to help bring a deeper presence for Michigan State medical, in the medical field and what have you, that was a great accomplishment. I know there were some rubs with the trustees. I get that. There's certainly some trustees out there that are very strong, opinionated, right or wrong. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad they gave him a little bit of a bump. I'm sorry, University of Kentucky, your bill just went from $2.5 to $5 million. Sorry about that, because Jay Batt now is there, and now they have to pay more because Guskiewicz opted to stay.
Yep.
I see Guskiewicz. I read Cranes Detroit today. He's getting some nice additional benefits for staying on, but let's hope, putting all that aside, let's hope he's there for the duration and really can continue to build on the many good things that have happened there. Unfortunately, Rob, as is always the case in life, all the negative headlines have swept away from a lot of the good things, I think, that have happened there under his regime, would you say, in the last few years in East Lansing.
Absolutely, and we've national and ultimately it really doesn't matter, I mean, to many people, but the national outlook at Michigan State University, and Jack has talked about this many a time on his show when this all went down, hasn't been at the brightest of lights in most recent times. But I think this is a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief, whatever you want to call it. I think this is a win for Michigan State, and most certainly they deserve it. And I'll tell you what, when he made a statement when they officially said he was back, and the fact that he apologized that to, everybody that's reading it, to the university, to the donor, to everybody, saying, you know what, I might have made a haste. I'm paraphrasing. I might have made a haste of judgment here. I know there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, and I'm here for that. I think that takes a big person to realize, hey, you know what, I made a mistake, but I'm here, and we're going to make this thing right. This is where I want to be, and I think that goes a long way as far as the healing process for some people that might be on the fence with him.
Rob, whether it be business or in sports or in life
or in anything,
and those things those things all imitate each other, right? To me, and we've been talking about this a lot in the hockey world lately, if I may expound, there is nothing more valuable, and I feel very emotional about this, there is nothing more valuable than owning your own you-know-what. You know what? And yes, he had his reasons that he wanted to go. He had some frustrations from the outside or people that he was dealing with. I get that. I like what he said about maybe I made a hasty decision, but it doesn't matter whether it was right or wrong. He said, and whether he needed to or not, the fact that he got out there and he owned it, he owned at least his part. He's not taking full blame. And I'm telling you, Rob, going back to the hockey world as it relates to that, if I may, you go back a year ago, Joel Quenneville and everything that happened here in Chicago, all the bad headlines that came out when he got hired in Anaheim, he came right up and owned it. He said, this is what happened. Now, of course, he was probably told he had to, but he came out and he owned it, and he owned it sincerely. And look what kind of great year Anaheim had. You have other people out there like Mike Babcock, who I'm a big admirer of, and he got up there and got hired by Edmonton, and he didn't have an apologetic bone in his body.
No, he didn't.
And I was like, what are you doing? How about the guy, John Chayka, for Toronto, gets hired as general manager. They asked him about some of the things that happened in the past. Well, you learn things, and now that Chayka's doing some good things there, but it's like, what a great opportunity. I have found in the business world, if you own it right out of the gate,
absolutely,
the oxygen and the atmosphere in the room completely changes. Robin. So for Guskiewicz to do that, full marks to him. I'm glad you brought that up. I give him all the credit in the world for doing that.
And if you're able to do that, we are a forgiving society, right?
Yes,
everybody deserves a second chance. Heck, people that don't do that sometimes get third, fourth, fifth chances here. So, I mean, and I truly believe when I saw that and read that, I mean, I truly believe he means it, right? There's no other reason for me not to think that. So I am very happy that he is there from, and I'm not from here. I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? So I'm not connected fully, but
you can take a real objective view of it. Exactly.
So it's just really good to hear. And like I said, I think it's just a breath of fresh air. Now they can concentrate on the new athletic director, because I do believe Jay Batt will still be going to Kentucky, even though I believe he's still here. But again, they can concentrate on that now. There's some stability now. Once again. So, and again, I'm going to mention Tom Izzo, because why not? When you talk about Michigan State University, the first thing that comes to a lot of people's mind is Tom Izzo, and I don't want to gloss over what you said about a lot of people were involved, and I'm sure there are, and I don't want to gloss over all of them. But Tom Izzo, to me, my goodness, this might be the best recruiting job he has ever done. And that's saying a lot for this university. Would you agree on that?
Of course. I mean, I remember for years I've talked to college coaches, and of course, what they've often said to me, hey, listen, it's one thing to recruit the kid, but you got to re-recruit every year to get him to stay. It's just like, again, you got to keep the client happy year after year after year. So you're right, that is a recruit. It wasn't to put a hockey spin on it. It wasn't a goal. It was a save. And he saved the situation and kept Guskiewicz in. So good on him. And Lord knows Tom Izzo is just so highly respected. So, he's better than E.F. Hutton. When people talk, everybody stops and stills and listens to what Tom Izzo has to say. And he did that and really pleaded his case. And as you said, Rob, and as we've kind of concluded, many people have been involved. And you know what? I'm sure he feels Very, very pleased by that. President Guskowitz, he's probably proud of that. But again, I give him full. I'm so glad you brought that up, Rob. For him to come up and just take that and say, "Listen, here's what I can do better." And hey, let's hope there's other people that maybe they'll take a step back and they'll say, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit overly vocal. Maybe I did a little bit of this too." You know what? That is just such a tone setter when you own what you've done. It just creates such a more pleasant atmosphere, and hopefully gets other people to do the same thing.
I'll tell you what, one more thing on Tom Izzo, then we'll get to MSU hockey real quick before I let you go.
Yeah.
One more thing. I had Jim Cotter on yesterday, and we were talking about this, and we were talking about Coach Izzo, and he mentioned the great thing that he was taught. Not many people, and Coach Izzo quickly shut this down, and what I'm about to say. Not many people are bigger than the university itself. And Coach Izzo puts the university, no matter what, first. No question about that. But if there was one person that came close to just as important as the university as a whole, I don't know anybody near the top of that list other than Coach Tom Izzo, or just Tom Izzo, the human being. Never mind being a Hall of Fame coach. He's a Hall of Fame human being. Now, he will never put the university above him, but my goodness, for me, just from a way outsider looking in, I mean, he's right there. Right. I mean, he's right there.
He's right there, Rob. And again, maybe he is larger than life in that respect, but Tom Izzo doesn't look at himself that way, and I think that's why he's so successful.
That is correct.
Right? So I agree with you. Rob, we were joking earlier. You may not be a soccer fan, but when you say Brazil loses in soccer, okay, that gets everybody's attention. When Tom Izzo speaks, that gets people's attention. You may not even be a big college sports fan. And my sport is hockey. I don't follow college basketball very closely. I don't even follow college football very closely. Right. But if you're in the Midwest or anywhere near it, you know who Tom is. Oh yeah, he's the coach of Michigan State basketball, and so everybody knows who he is. So good on him for taking the lead. Good on him for expressing his anger, but in a very, very positive and meaningful way, right? Yep. And doing that as he did a few weeks ago. And so full marks to him and everybody involved that came forward to the president to say, would you give it a second look? And he did, and that's a great thing. So as you said, Rob, stability, certainty in many respects, and let's see where everything goes from here.
Talking about stability, man, you just lining these up for me for great segues into our next subject here, real quick. Talking about stability, you've been through this before. That brings us now to another green and white situation: the Michigan State hockey team under Coach Nightingale and his staff, and the stability they've shown over the past several seasons. And this brings me to the NHL draft. 5 first-round picks, 9 total picks, breaking the record of 8. In this year's NHL draft for the green and white. My goodness, it's exciting times for hockey and what we have coming into not only Michigan State, but when you look at the Big Ten in general, Paul, and especially that team down the road who, whether you like it or not, is extremely loaded as well. We all know that we know the history of Michigan State and Michigan on the hockey side of things, not only within the state, but within college hockey as a whole. And I dare say this season could ratchet it up a notch or two, if you can believe that.
Oh, well, listen, hey, the battles are on the ice, and the battles are in the recruiting lanes too, right? And that's where right now Michigan State is really having a heck of a great time of it. Michigan is as well. Let's not kid ourselves. But I like how you said stability, Rob, because the stability lies in the fact that Michigan State is now, in a stable way, consistently bringing in top-notch players from wherever they may come from, whether it be from the high school level, whether it be from the U.S. National Development Team, and now, of course, with the opening up of the rules and regulations from the CHL, like a Chase Reed, a Detroit kid who played for the Sioux Greyhound. So the stability is the fact that he's continually able to bring in these top players. But now that's where the challenge is, too. We have talked at length. I mean, sorry for repeating myself. And again, I've followed and admired Michigan's hockey team for many, many years, and they boast about all the great players that they send to the NHL. And I'm not saying it's easy, but they are without an NCAA championship since 1998. That's not so much as a criticism as it is a compliment to how difficult it is to win the Frozen Four and win it all. And I know a lot of people were bothered last year when Adam Nightingale and the Spartans couldn't get past the regionals again and get to that Frozen Four. So stability, yes, but now he's got to take all these disparate parts. He's got to take all this diversity of talent, if you will, and can he build it into some consistency and maybe get a player or two to stick around for an extra year or two and really build something. Take everything he's got, take everything that he's bringing in, the Peter Kleptop, Jack Hextall, Chase Reed, the list is on, and bring all these players in and really build something. And I think Adam Nightingale, if anybody has the ability to do it, he does. But you're right, Rob, it's stability, but now it's the time to really, for State to take that next step. And they want to get to that Frozen Four.
Well, and that's the nature of the beast, right? When you get the program where everybody wants it to be, and a lot of Michigan State fans are happy where Michigan State hockey is. Of course, they want to get to the next level, as you mentioned. But when you get these top-tier recruits and players, I mean, this is you can ask Tom Izzo. There's, especially in this day and age, right? But so you do get only a year or two, right? But when this day and age, that's what it is for every hockey team, whether it's through the transfer portal, whether it's because of the going to the next level. I mean, this is the adjustment that they have to do. But my goodness, when you look at it from top to bottom in the Big Ten, and I know there's Denver's out there, and I know North Dakota's out there, and of course Western Michigan's out there. I understand that, but my goodness, the Big Ten from top to bottom, I mean, you can't argue maybe the best conference in all of college hockey, because I'll say this, I said this yesterday, you look at Michigan State, yes. You look at a Penn State, sure, they lost some things. Obviously, the number one pick in Gavin McKenna, but watch out for. I'm saying watch out for Minnesota. New coach, I get it, but man, they loaded up too. And I'm just real curious. Before we let you go, your thoughts on the Big Ten as a whole as we enter what will be an exciting season. There's no question about that.
It's a crazy irony, Rob. They are a terrific conference. You could certainly make that case that they are the best conference, top to bottom. I hope nobody from the NCHC is listening.
I understand.
I'm sure they would disagree. But at the same time, Rob, we also have to face the reality. Has the Big Ten won a Frozen Four yet? No,
since 2007. I know, and
they have not.
Nope.
They have not. But no, it's a strong time, and maybe that's the argument. Maybe because it's so hard to get out of that conference. But I will say this, Rob, real quick. I know we're probably limited on time, but hey, Denver, they have the big stars, but look what they do. They get everything. They get the maximum out of the minimum of every player, and a lot of those kids stay that third and fourth year. They play. I remember a college hockey coach once said he was recruiting a kid, and he said, "Hey, do you want to get to the NHL next year? Or do you want to win a Frozen Four championship?" Now, sure, if you're a hockey player, you want both. Right, but you know what? You need the blend. Top players you're not going to keep for 4 years, but you need that blend of kids that are going to stay there. Maybe that second, maybe that even that third year, even that fourth year, heaven forbid, and blend those in with all the players. So you got to be a chef. You got to be a cook in the kitchen, and you got to know what to do, and you got to change the ingredients on the fly, and still make a hell of a dinner for everybody. So that's the challenge in sports, whether it be hockey, college sports, hockey, whatever the sport may be. But Adam Nightingale, I certainly think, has the tools to put it together.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have been the chef in this segment. Unbelievable, man.
Thank you,
You've made my job. You made my job so much easier. I had no doubt, and I appreciate you staying a little bit over. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining us, and I know we will talk to you very soon, my friend. Thanks again.
Anytime, my friend. Thanks, Rob. Great job.
Paul Sheehan with us, and we will be back. We got more sports to talk about. Albert Cohen, another great fan, and of course a professor here at Michigan State University, another great hockey fan as well. We will talk with him as he has gone on a World Cup excursion. We'll talk about his travels through Canada during the World Cup this year. We'll throw in a little hockey as well, and we'll let you know what he's got planned as far as sports analytics go here at Michigan State University as well. Stay tuned. Boston Rob here with you for the Wednesday edition of The Drive right here on the Spotlight Media Network.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, I gotta ask, how do you always know where to go on the weekends?
Easy. One North. It's basically my cheat code.
What's going on there?
Live music every Friday and Saturday night, DJ trivia during the week. There's always something happening, Jack.
So I don't have to keep texting you for plans?
Nope. Just follow all 3 One North locations on social media. Lineups, times, everything's right there.
That might actually simplify my life.
That's the goal. When you're looking for something to do, One North's the move.
All right. See you there this weekend.
Are you passionate about college sports? Foster Swift Sports Talk is your go-to podcast dedicated to addressing the hottest topics in college athletics, including recruiting practices, NIL, the trade portal, collectives, and revenue generation.
Join us as we bring you insights from student athletes, college head coaches, administrators, and other industry leaders as they share their experiences in this rapidly changing arena.
Our mission is to share information and help educate student athletes, parents, coaches, and other stakeholders with the knowledge, resources, and strategies they need to make informed decisions and maximize each college athlete's potential for long-term success.
Check out our latest episode where we're joined by Stephen Bianco to discuss his work at 42U and working with universities around the country.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages to watch all of our episodes, or you can give us a listen on any of your favorite podcasting platforms by simply searching Foster Swift Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Dave Russell.
I'm Bob Seeger for your listening pleasure. Welcome back, everyone. This is The Drive with your special guest host today, producer, and hopefully your favorite masshole, Boston Rob Bennett, with you as filling in for Jack Ebeling until Friday. He will be back in the hot seat on Friday. He's enjoying a much-needed vacation with his family. Hope he's having a great time. I'm sure he'll talk all about it here when he returns. But until then, Boston Rob with you, having a great Wednesday. Hopefully your Wednesday is going well as well. Too many wells there. But now we will continue to talk sports with one of our favorite guests here on the show. All our guests are favorites, really. But this gentleman I've come to know since working with Jack Ebeling, and boy, just a really, really cool son of a gun. Knows his sports, knows analytics, and knows a little bit of music as well. We'll get into that a little bit. Of course, I'm talking about our favorite Vancouver Canucks fan, Albert Cohen. Albert, how are you, my man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm here actually in North Vancouver, home of Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard. I'm looking at the Grouse Mountain where they have the Team Canada flag on the very top of the mountain.
Oh, beautiful.
Unfortunately, Canada's out, and the U.S. is out as well. Two of my favorite teams are gone, and Brazil. That's a whole other story. But, yeah, I'm actually also out in public. You're going to hear some cars pulling up and stuff like that. But, yeah, doing well. How about you, my friend?
Oh, man, I'm living the dream, as they say, right? I'm living the dream. And not only are you very knowledgeable in sports or just in things in general, but I want to let people know you have quite the music background as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So when I was a kid here, growing up, out of my undergrad, began my master's at a place called Simon Fraser University, which for a time, was the only Canadian school in the NCAA. When the NAIA, I guess, collapsed, they were admitted as a Division III school. And their hockey program, unfortunately, just finished. They played their last game at Yost Arena of all places.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, and as a Simon Fraser, I used to host the Underground Metal Massacre. It was a heavy metal radio show every Saturday night. You got to meet all these heavy metal dudes, some of the nicest people you'll ever meet, some of the meanest, scariest looking guys. It's a good time.
Oh, man, so cool. And you do have a great sense of music for sure. And I'm going to definitely get in touch with you. As you know, I have a little side project of myself with my own internet radio station playing music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and more. And we're going to get together and we're going to have you on a special guest appearance on Rubber Turtle Radio. Yes, you heard that correctly, fans, Rubber Turtle Radio. But I digress. I want to talk sports with you, and I want to talk your adventure that you have been on. I've been very jealous. One of the things on my bucket list, sports bucket list, and I don't make a big deal out of it, but one of the things that was is still on my list is going to a World Cup game out of the United States of America. And so that is still on my list. You, my friend, have made the travels. Can you talk about your travels and the games that you have saw and just your overall? I know you talked about it a little bit. Of course, Canada out now. All the countries, the host countries, Mexico with a heartbreaking loss as well. All the host countries out. But just your overall thoughts on what has been truly a competitive, really just exciting World Cup. With the expansion of 48 teams, I know there's a lot of talk. Some people like it, some people don't. But my goodness, the majority of these matches, and I want to see if you agree, has been just amazing to watch. Can you talk about your travels and just your overall thoughts again on the World Cup happening this year?
Really appreciate it. When I got here, I had no intention of going to the game. I thought I'd just go to the watch parties, which FIFA has organized one on the fairgrounds here. But I ended up just buying a ticket, and I got in for about $400 for Egypt versus New Zealand. And it was a magical experience. I mean, Egypt was a phenomenal team. Their fans know how to party. Just a great atmosphere. You walk in, it's amazing, Bob. So, Rob, honestly, you walk in, you know, it's sort of this mechanical, high-level security process. But once you get in, there's just partying. People are selling you stuff. You basically take a half-mile walk into the stadium, and you see it in the distance. And everybody's dancing and happy. You see Kiwis and Egyptians dancing together, you know, to each other's music. It's just phenomenal.
Yes.
And the games themselves, when they come out for the anthems, when they come out, you know, and you see that on TV, and now you see it in person with the spider cam, you know, over them trying to broadcast all the emotions and stuff. It's hard to explain, you know, as a kid growing up, you know, the kid of you know, Brazilian and Egyptian parents, watching this in person. Like, we never thought Canada would make it to the World Cup, let alone, you know, host the World Cup. But to actually be in the atmosphere, I agree with you. It should be on your bucket list. We didn't make it to a Canada game. I saw Egypt versus New Zealand, and I had a feeling Egypt would go a long way. Mohamed Salah obviously is a superstar, but they had that sort of team cohesion. It's one of those things that we work on is using what I call mathematical networks to understand soccer player performance. And you could see they were a tight-knit group. We didn't do analysis on them, but I'm sure it came out well. And then New Zealand versus Belgium. I mean, Belgium just destroyed them. And, yeah,
and you've been on the Belgian bandwagon. You've been on the Belgian bandwagon. Yes. So great call from you. Yes.
They're still a dark horse. They've got that talent. They've got a really cagey goalkeeper, and of course they beat Brazil in 2018. You know, Neymar, I think, hit the shot off the crossbar in 2018. So all tied up. You remember, as a fan, you remember those near tying goals, right?
Oh yeah,
more than you remember the goals.
Yep.
So I think that, you know, Courtois is a fantastic goalie. And then Switzerland versus Algeria. I actually snuck in, you know, using a ticket vendor.
There you go. Hey, you had a ticket.
To the round of 32, Switzerland versus Algeria, and that was phenomenal. Algeria was destroyed. They weren't in it from the first minute, from what I could see. Switzerland is just a machine. And so when they beat Colombia yesterday, what is essentially a coin flip in those penalties, the fact that they held a 0-0 was more impressive to me. So I think Switzerland has become another one of my dark horses. Obviously, they're playing Argentina.
Yeah.
And that game yesterday, oh my goodness, I have not seen a game like that. There were 3 goals in the last 15 minutes.
And I will tell you, Albert. I am in a pool, and Argentina was my pick. And boy, they have had me on the edge of this to win the whole thing again. And they have had me on the edge of the seat. How many lives does Argentina have left?
I think they're going to come up against their toughest challenge in Switzerland, because Switzerland is a very balanced team with fantastic scorers. I thought that Egypt was a very well-connected, tightly knit team with Salah up front. Obviously, a good goalie blocking that penalty kick against Messi yesterday, but still, those last couple of goals that he laid in were, especially the last goal. He was, I don't think he had much of a chance on, but he was also a little bit out of position in my opinion. I think Switzerland is a complete team. So I think if Argentina is going to lose, it's going to be in Kansas City against Switzerland on the weekend.
Okay.
But you're right. If they make it past them, I think they're going all the way.
Ah, okay. I mean, you look at France and Spain, those are two obvious teams that everybody's looking at from the beginning, right? Before this thing even started, no matter where the draw even began, they were looking at Spain and France as being the favorites. So, again, it's been an outstanding tournament. And I'm going to bring music back into this, if you don't mind. So when you look at the United States, right? And if you followed the United States, you know the whole hoopla between what transpired with the red card. We're not going to get into that. It's past, But when you look at what they accomplished, and when you look at what Canada accomplished as well, if you can give me a music or a song that would encapsulate how you feel the United States did in this World Cup and Canada, if they each could get a song title or a song that would explain your expectations for these teams and how it ended up for them, what would they be for each?
Well, Canada, first thing comes to mind is a tragedy ahead by a century. They are way ahead of schedule. I mean, again, in the 80s, that was the last time, 86, the last time they qualified.
Yep.
So for, a kid, son of immigrants, the dream to watch this live. So their development program, I think, is miles ahead. So I'd say ahead by a century, by tragedy ahead for the in Canada. The U.S., that's a really good question. But it had to be something to do with expectations. I think what's really happening in the United States is the expectations are through the roof. The attention is through the roof. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I think sometimes you hinder. I mean, Brazil is the same when it comes to soccer. I mean, their fans are just rabid. They are, if you want to dive into Brazilian TV on YouTube and all these guys that are complaining, they bring up some really good points. They're talking about the youth system in Brazil has sort of gone sideways. They're talking about the creativity, this worry about every team they've lost to has been a European team, right? And so they can't play that style that Europe teams have integrated into their own game. This sort of creative, beautiful style that's also fast and aggressive. Brazil used to have that up until about 25 years ago. So to go back to the U.S., I think that they're still trying to figure it out, but there's these expectations that are getting in the way. It's kind of like U.S. hockey was maybe a couple of decades ago.
Sure.
Right. You have these moments where the U.S. is now talking about hockey, like the Miracle on Ice, but you need a development program, and it's an expensive sport to play.
Yep.
With soccer, especially the travel costs, the finding the right team.
Yeah, and American football, I mean, that's king here, right? I mean, there's not as many young people getting for a long time between every sport here in America. That wasn't, unfortunately, the world game was not on the top of a lot of people, a lot of young players, lists, because American football really took over. Would you agree with that?
Kind of. I mean, it's, a lot of young people play soccer. I mean, the whole notion of a soccer mom is really like a football mom, right?
Right.
So, there's a hockey mom here in Canada. But the point being is, yes, I think that there is some of that. But I think U.S. soccer, if they were to sit down and say, what's our path? Is our path developing players to, hopefully see their contracts sold to European teams, and that funding comes back here and helps to, with teams developing and better resources, kind of like you see in Latin America. Latin America, they have these development academies where eventually the players end up in Europe, and the proceeds are hopefully reinvested in the home teams.
Yeah.
Is that the way the U.S. wants to go? Or do they want to really develop something like you said, where everybody goes to college to play football and there's name, image, and likeness now, and there's this huge pressure to focus on them, and there's national championships every year? I think they're kind of shifting the college schedule for soccer, if I'm not mistaken. I think I know Major League Soccer is also shifting the schedule to be on the same European timetable.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some of that movement. You make a really good point, Rob, but
I feel like if you're a U.S. soccer fan, right, or a U.S. football fan, I'll say football because that's what it is. So I feel like what you have seen up until this point, yes, it's disappointing, but again, Belgium is a very good team, and the United States really picked a bad time to play a bad game for themselves, and so. I mean, it just happened, but up until that point, if I look at it, I would be pretty excited for what U.S. soccer could become, because if memory serves me correct, I mean, again, I mentioned this earlier, they get out of the knockout round for the first time since 2002, and we all know about that 2002 team and how loaded they were, right? That was a very special team. So again, if I'm a U.S. soccer fan, yes, disappointing end, but I feel like they have proven they've proven that they can play with mostly anybody in the world. I say mostly, not quite there to the upper echelon yet. Not a lot of teams are, not a lot of countries are. So overall, I would say you got to be pretty pleased with the progress, at least through this World Cup.
I think so. I mean, I was giggling a little bit when we talked about that game because that third goal broke their back.
Yes.
Matt Bruce is a Harvard graduate, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, your listeners will correct me, I'm trying to hold, but I think he was also quoted as saying that he did some econometrics work, computer science work at Harvard about the perfect way to goaltend, but you can't release it because it's proprietary, and the dude can't even kick the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's 3-1, and that breaks their back. So
yes.
I think that sometimes you kind of put too much pressure, right? There's too much focus, and then that momentum is gone. Like Brazil, I know I'm a fan, and I'm also a fan of Canada and U.S., but Brazil, had they scored that first penalty, then Norway's chasing the game, right?
Yes.
And then, but then the coach, Carlo Ancelotti, who's a superstar coach, probably one of the top 5 coaches of all time, said that, well, we did statistics, and Bruno G was the guy just kick it, because Neymar wasn't on the field, Rafinha wasn't on the field, so they used statistics. But you see, if you watch the replay, Bruno G is like huffing and puffing and blowing out air before he takes the kick. You know he's stressed. Just like the young guy Harrington for Australia,
right,
when he hit it off the crossbar and he gets in the penalties. The same thing. I mean, England at home in 2020 in the Euros, or the 21, whatever the Euros were, we lost it at home. All that pressure, and you send these young guys up to see penalties. 2022, penalties for Brazil against Croatia. Young guys, they miss it. That pressure is unimaginable. And so I think that's where I would either train people for this or kind of figure out a way to keep it from them.
Yes.
That's where I was laughing a little bit, because that goalie, he put a target on his back by saying, I have this amazing goaltending, econometrics, and analytics, but I can't share it with you.
Right.
But then stick the ball.
Yeah.
That's the analytics 101.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that, yes. So your song, I don't have a song.
You don't have a song. You don't have a song for the United States. Okay, all right. Yeah. Canada's the only one that gets a song, apparently. Okay.
Tragically hit. That
nice choice.
That's the house band of the country.
Nice choice. Very good choice. Yes. Real quick, couple of things before we let you go. I know you're out with your mom. We don't want to keep you from continuing to do that. Say hello from us to her, and tell her thank you. Tell her thank you for letting us interrupt your day together. We appreciate that. Real quick, I can't go without talking about your. I said it in the open. You're probably the best Vancouver Canucks fan that I've ever known. So I want to get your thoughts through the draft, and the Sundin brothers now a part of the front office of the Vancouver Canucks. Just your thoughts as they continue to rebuild. Is that the right term? Would you use rebuild?
Yeah, It's been the right time for the last 5 years. It's just never wanted to say it in public. And so the Sedin twins, I mean, they helped build a wing for, the Children's Hospital here.
Mm-hmm.
They love this place.
Yes.
I think it was a little bit like Sweden. They've been on the record saying that they want to live here. They each married, I think, local folks here. Their kids are here. They're part of this community. Everybody loves them. They're the righteous. They're sort of like Trevor Linden for me, for my generation.
Yep.
So I think they're the right choice to be the sort of face of the organization, if it was me. I like what Ryan Johnson's doing, bringing in Brendan Gallagher. But your specific question about the draft was interesting, right? Because Caleb Malhotra, now being the new coach's son,
yes.
I mean, there's a development arc. He might not be playing day one, but he'll eventually play there, and there's a good chance that it'll be his dad coaching him. And so that's a whole other dynamic. So with the draft, I think they did okay. I liked last year's a little bit better. I thought they kind of were snake-bitten. It's falling down to number 3, even though by miles they were the worst record last year. So that's what it is. They did the best they could. So kind of middle of the road feeling about them this year. I hope that they do well.
Okay.
But yeah, they got a 3-year rebuild. But they need stars. They need like superstar players that are developed within the system.
Yeah.
And then they'll be okay.
And then we'll see what happens with Elias Pettersson, right? I mean, that's still a question mark for him, right, as far as Vancouver goes. And I'll tell you, you'll be excited. I know you know this, but not this upcoming season, but next season, a Vancouver Canuck draftee, Brooks Rogowski, coming to Michigan State. And I know you're excited to watch him.
Absolutely. So they had Anthony Romani. He's also not drafted.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. And actually, the goalie coming in for the Spartans, I'm mistaken, is a kid from North Vancouver, my hometown.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Did not know that. All right. Oh, these connections are unbelievable. Look at this. So
North Shore Winter Club is the home of champions. But honestly, I am so lucky to live and work in Michigan State, to be around friends like you and Jack. You have no idea how much you make academia so much more fun. It's already fun to begin with, being around young people and colleagues, but you want to bridge the gap and kind of talk about sports and analytics whenever you guys want.
Yep.
Thank you. I bomb my heart.
Well, that brings me to my last question, and coming into the season here, I guess you could say, what kind of things? I know Joey Ellerby is one of your prize students who's moving on to great things. You mentioned that during the last time Jack had you on a couple of weeks ago, so we wish him the best. I'm going to try and get him on the show here, whether with Jack or with me, very soon. I know he's very busy, but what sort of things can we expect from the analytics standpoint from you and what you expect from your group of very smart human beings?
I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, so the young guys and I, we're working on a couple projects. One of them is expanding this managerial aggression for the front office analysis. We're trying to look at trade prediction. And so we're basically adopting sort of ideas from portfolio analysis and quantitative finance. These are, to us, low-lying fruit because the technology is there. We're just shifting its application to sports. And then we're also looking a little bit at sports economics. We're trying to figure out this really interesting problem about, financing stadiums. Like the Whitecaps here in Vancouver are up for sale, and we're wondering if they're going to leave, obviously, Chicago Bears and the stadium drama.
Yes.
Go to Indiana or not. So is there sort of a happy medium, sort of like a game theory equilibrium, where everybody is happy? That people stay, there's no net, outlay to the taxpayer, but you expand the amount of time that the team will stay. So we're seeing this problem here, and it actually stealing a little bit from insurance and regulatory analysis. So that's going to hopefully come up on the pipeline soon. But thank you. And Jack mentioned, you did too, these kids are what drive everything for me. These are some of the smartest humans I've ever been around. I just work with them. I bring them coffee.
Well, everybody needs a good leader to point them in the right direction. And you, my friend, are a great leader, whether it's talking sports or analytics in sports or just music. Doesn't matter. You point people in the right direction, and it's great to have you on the show as much as we can. And we thank you for your continued support of this show and Michigan State University. You do a great job. No question about that. And it's been great to know you, and we will continue to move forward with you as we get closer and closer to the fall and hockey season, my friend. I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. And music, and you're not going to have to grab a coffee sometime. I'm looking forward to seeing you in East Lansing in a few months, or in a month.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank your mother again for us for letting you come on the show here for about 20 minutes. So we really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon, my friend.
Thanks, brother. And as always, go green.
Very well said. Very well said. I'll throw it out there. Go white. I'll finish it for you. Go white. Albert Cohen, sports analytics here at Michigan State, professor here at Michigan State University, music connoisseur, hockey connoisseur as well, and does great work with students here at Michigan State involving sports analytics. All right, we will be back. We're going to talk more sports, believe it or not, as we just went past the 5 p.m. hour here. Hopefully everyone's having a great Saturday. My goodness, Wednesday. I'm rushing it. Wow, Wednesday. It's the middle of the week, Rob. It's hump day. Hopefully everyone's having a great Wednesday, that is. We'll be back. We'll talk NBA offseason with the one and only Jeff Zilgett. We'll have him on here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned for that as we talk more with you today here on The Drive on the Spotlight Radio Network.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back-to-school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, it's finally patio season.
About time. And not just any patio, Amy. One North patios.
We're talking sunshine, cold drinks, and that perfect I should have left work early vibe.
Lansing, East Lansing, Jackson, each one has got its own patio personality.
Whether it's brunch in the sun, happy hour with friends, or late night cocktail under the lights.
It just hits different outside.
Great food, craft drinks, and plenty of space to kick back.
So grab your crew and claim your spot.
One North Kitchen and Bar, your table's waiting. Outside.
Let's go.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back-to-school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, it's finally patio season.
About time. And not just any patio, Amy. One North patios.
We're talking sunshine, cold drinks, and that perfect I should have left work early vibe.
Lansing, East Lansing, Jackson, Each one has got its own patio personality.
Whether it's brunch in the sun, happy hour with friends, or late night cocktail under the lights.
It just hits different outside.
Great food, craft drinks, and plenty of space to kick back.
So grab your crew and claim your spot.
One North Kitchen and Bar, your table's waiting. Outside.
Let's go.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Welcome back, everyone. It is The Drive with your special guest host today, Boston Rob Bennett, filling in for the Hall of Famer Jack Ebling. Glad to be with you. Hopefully you're having a great Wednesday. And as I've mentioned before, this is live radio, whether it's on internet or transitional radio. It don't matter. Things happen. And I'm going to be with you here for the next 20 minutes or so before our next guest. Hopefully our guest that was scheduled, the great Jeff Zillgett, will be joining us here momentarily. He might have ran into something. He's a very busy man, but hopefully we'll have him in just a few moments. Of course, it has been a very busy NBA offseason. Hopefully get to talk to him about that. Of course, the Detroit Tigers. And how about Justin Verlander, everyone? This gives me a minute to congratulate Justin Verlander. If you haven't heard, obviously, this will be officially his last year in Major League Baseball, his Hall of Fame career. And, of course, it's been great having him, of course, not with the injuries that have stopped his momentum here this season to physically help the team on the field. But most certainly a feel-good story when he got signed back here in Detroit, looking to do some special things, and because of injury has not yet been able to do that. But has made it official today that he will retire at the end of the year. So a Hall of Fame career, first ballot Hall of Famer, no question about it. And most certainly, hopefully, we'll see him back on the mound this season for wearing the Old English D. What a moment that'll be if and hopefully when that'll happen. So congratulations to Justin Verlander and his entire family. A Detroit Tiger through and through, of course, won a couple of World Series with the Houston Astros, and most certainly it was a decision, a business decision by the Detroit Tigers. I still believe that Justin Verlander did not want to get traded. He did not want to leave Detroit, but most certainly got the World Series that he was most certainly deserving of so with the Houston Astros, but coming back here, obviously, in Detroit, just a really feel-good moment. And it continues to be so despite the injuries that have derailed him this year. But like I said, hopefully we'll see him back on the mound before the end of the season, whenever that may be for the Detroit Tigers. Of course, they are in action tonight against the Athletics. Of course, Troy Melton will be on the mound, a red-hot Troy Melton. will be on the mound for Detroit. I believe a 6:40 p.m. first pitch for the Tigers. And I do want to mention also that we are looking for, as we continue in this offseason of the Detroit Pistons, some news. Gary Harris coming back to the state of Michigan. If you remember, a Michigan State Spartan under head coach Tom Izzo. He is part of the deal that will send him to Detroit for Karis LeVert and a couple second-round picks. And Gary Harris, who played last year with Milwaukee, will be heading to Detroit. And what a career for Gary Harris. Nothing flashy, very consistent, a hell of a defensive player throughout his years, not only at the biggest level in the NBA, but also at Michigan State. Remember, so again, it's great to see him back, and I think he will most certainly contribute in a positive way. That veteran leadership, of course, of Gary Harris, and most certainly a defensive stalwart in the NBA. I don't think anybody can disagree. But it will be really cool to see him in the red and blue of the Detroit Pistons next year, as he was part of the deal that sent Karis LeVert and 2 second-round picks to Milwaukee, and Gary Harris now coming back to the Mitten State. So great to hear that as well. The Detroit Tigers, I mentioned, continuing to play well. Yes, but again, we will see what happens at the trade deadline. I know everybody has an opinion on Tarek Skubal, whether he should get traded, whether the Tigers should hang on to him. No question has been the question as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. Congratulations to Riley Green, as well as Dylan Dingler, and of course the phenom known as Kevin McGonigal. All 3 members of the Detroit Tigers will be headed to represent them in the All-Star game in Philadelphia. And how cool is it for Kevin McGonigal, a lifelong Philadelphia Phillies fan, not only being able to play the All-Star game in Philadelphia, but right before the All-Star game, a very good Philadelphia Phillies team coming into Detroit. So, boom, family members will be able to come into Detroit and watch him play against the Philadelphia Phillies and then go right back home, as he is a Pennsylvania kid, and see their son, a 21-year-old phenom, Kevin McGonigal, play in the All-Star Game 1, his first of what most certainly will be, barring injuries and things of that nature. You never know, and I don't want to put the old Boston Rob curse on him, but one of many All-Star appearances for Kevin McGonigal in the future. Now, what will happen with the Tigers in the future, one only knows. As we come into this, as we continue with the series with the A's, and then going into, like I said, a series with Philadelphia Phillies. Quite honestly, one of the comeback stories this first half of the season, the Philadelphia Phillies, who got off to a horrible start, almost as bad as the Tigers in April and May, although May was really the downfall of the Detroit Tigers. But a coaching change, and lo and behold, Don Mattingly has turned that team around. I'm sure health has become a little bit, the team's also become a little bit more healthy, that as well. And so we'll see what happens with teams as Michigan State. Wow. It is. What do you know? It's live radio, folks. As you can tell, I'm probably trying to fill in here. Hopefully, Jeff Zilgett, the great NBA insider, will join me here. A lot to talk about as far as NBA and the offseason, what the Pistons have done. Obviously, some big names moved. Of course, yours truly with Jaylen Brown, the Boston Celtics now. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jaylen Brown, a Philadelphia 76er, of course. Where will LeBron James go as well? Giannis going to Miami. Will LeBron James head to Miami to play with Giannis? We will wait and see. And, of course, it's been a crazy offseason as far as the NHL goes as well. Dylan Larkin's situation still most certainly, I think the best way to say that is a stalemate. It's we haven't heard anything from Dylan Larkin. We have heard from Steve Yzerman, and he is not going to budge. I think that's quite clear until he comes up with a deal that he sees fit that is equitable for the Detroit Red Wings. And, of course, it seems as though Dylan Larkin has not budged on the teams that he wishes to get traded to. He gave a small list. We will wait and see if he expands that list at all. And as we get closer and closer to the preseason and the opening of camp, I mean, boy, if he is still a member of the Detroit Red Wings, then how awkward would that be? I mean, I can't imagine him still being the captain, never mind being on the team and the awkward situation it would be in. And that could go one of two of many different ways. It could most certainly divide the team, or it can galvanize the team if Larkin says, you know what, I'm just going to play it out at least this year. I owe it to my teammates. But most certainly, I can't imagine him still being the captain of this team, even if he's still on the team at the beginning of the season. And, boy, if he is and he's playing, most certainly the crowd reaction will most certainly be interesting to hear the least. But, again, we'll wait and see if something happens here as far as the movement of Dylan Larkin. Whether you believe that Steve Yzerman was in the right or Dylan Larkin was in the right, boy, it's you can't make this stuff up, no question about that. And I posed the question yesterday, who is under more pressure right now? The Tarek Skubal situation and Scott Harris, or the Steve Yzerman situation with Dylan Larkin? Now, I know Dylan Larkin requested a trade and most certainly seemed wanted out of Detroit. Now, Tarek Skubal has not requested a trade, most certainly. But again, it's pretty two dynamic players, and most certainly you could argue both players, the faces of the franchise. Tarek Skubal over the last couple of years. I mean, I guess you can throw in Riley Green there as well for the Detroit Tigers, but Tarek Skubal most certainly right there as well with the back-to-back Cy Young Award winners and being dubbed one of the best, if not the best pitcher in baseball. One could argue he most certainly. One could argue most certainly he is, no question. And Dylan Larkin, the face of the Detroit Red Wings for the past, decade or so, has not reached the playoffs since his rookie season. So two dynamic Detroit sports figures in a crossroads, really, for Detroit fans and the organizations as well. I think for sure for the Detroit Tigers, when you look at that pitching staff, yes, losing Tarek Skubal, especially if it is for nothing, most certainly a hit. But when you look at, the pipeline of a young Troy Melton and the importance, I think, especially if the Tarek Skubal situation goes awry, you have to sign a Casey Mize. I think most certainly, and then you get the Valder Valdez. I'm butchering his name, but the big signee from Houston that they got this year will be a part of that mix. And then when you got a young Jackson Jobe, who actually pitched his first game off the mound in quite a while yesterday, and most certainly 33 pitches and 25 of them are strikes. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but most certainly had a couple of strikeouts, a couple of runs, a couple of hits. So and I guess he peaked at 100, maybe even 101. I don't know if you want him throwing 101 in a simulation game like that, but most certainly looks back to the road to recovery. So he will have a huge impact on that starting pitching staff as well. And again, let's not forget about Reese Olson coming back from injury as well. Another young pitcher that has proven he could be a 3 or 4 guy in a rotation when healthy. And, of course, Pedro Montero, who most certainly, as I've mentioned and we've mentioned on this show, is a Swiss Army knife of sorts. You want him to start, he has proven he can do that. You want him in a midweek game, he can do that. You want him to pitch 7 innings, you can do that. You want him to be middle relief, you can do that. In these last couple of games, we have seen him closing games, and so most certainly, and I actually like that situation. I don't know what you guys think about that, but most certainly most certainly, and he is on a 1-year deal. So I most certainly believe he most certainly deserves an extension of a contract. Most certainly, and he most certainly, I believe, most certainly. How many most certainlys can I say here within the next 2 minutes? Deserves, maybe we talk about when Casey Mize was healthy being the rock of this pitching staff with all the injuries when he was healthy, but most certainly Pedro Montero, there it is again. That's called a crutch, ladies and gentlemen. Word crutch here. He you could argue was the MVP of that pitching staff with all the injuries happening. So there most certainly some bright spots for the Detroit Tigers. I think they'll be in a much better situation than losing Tarik Skubal than maybe the Detroit Red Wings for sure would lose Dylan Larkin. I don't know. Again, it comes back to what the Detroit Red Wings would get in return, and what they're looking for. I think Matt Bodley of Minnesota. I know Minnesota's in the mix still. There's been word of Vegas and Florida, but all three of those teams have made major moves in the offseason or moves that at least turn the needle a little upwards. So again, the window of those three teams needing a Larkin, sure, they would like to have him, I would imagine, as a number 2 center, most notably, but they're not going to give up what a Matt Bodley or maybe even a young player that has been solidified in these lineups. I mean, I would figure out of those teams right now, you're looking at draft capital and very young players that would help Detroit maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, and I don't know if Detroit Red Wings fans would want to have that or not. So hear that or not. So very interesting. It has most certainly been a soap opera. It will continue as the Red Wings and Dylan Larkin seem to be at a stalemate. And as I mentioned, for the Detroit Tigers, we will find out most certainly what Tarik Skubal's future will hold, whether he will be on the move on the trade deadline or he will be on the move whenever the season ends for the Detroit Tigers. I do believe come next season he will not be with the Detroit Tigers one way or another. I just don't see the management, and this is from someone looking far away in, have no inside information whatsoever, but as just watching from afar and seeing the history of the Detroit Tigers, not going to be able to pay Tarik Skubal, or not willing to pay Tarik Skubal that amount of money that he most certainly is asking for and most certainly deserves, in my view, if that's what the market calls for. No one should be paid that much for any playing a sport, but this is what the market is. This is what we live. This is the world we live in now, so you can't blame him or his agent for wanting to get the best possible dollar for his client. He has most certainly earned it and most certainly deserved it. No question about that. All right. Whew. How about that for me filling a segment? Hopefully the people that are listening are still listening. Hopefully I didn't scare you away. We will have our final guest of the day, one of the very coolest dudes that I know, Justin Kane. If you don't know the name, you will after this break. A very big sports fan and a businessman and a true inspiration to close out the show this week. We look forward to him from Good Fruit Video. Justin Kane joining us right here on The Drive with yours truly, Boston Rob, right after this break. Right here, you are listening on the Spotlight Media Network.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit DeanJobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at DeanJobs.com and train for back-to-school season. That's DEAN Jobs.com.
Jeremy, what's the move when the kids say they're bored?
Easy. Family fun night every Tuesday at 1 North.
Free kids meal with every entree, so dinner is handled.
And we're not just talking crayons and paper menus.
Nope. We've got Battleship, Uno, all the table game classics.
Plus, all the big stuff, Amy. Giant Yahtzee, Connect 4. It's basically game night leveled up.
Kids stay entertained, parents actually get to relax. It's a win-win.
Great food, family vibes, and a little friendly competition.
Family fun night at 1 North Kitchen and Bar.
Come hungry and ready to play.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Welcome back, everyone. It is The Drive with a special guest host today, your producer and hopefully your favorite masshole, Boston Rob Bennett, with you sitting in the hot seat as Jack Ebling continues to be on vacation this week. Don't worry, the Hall of Famer will be back on Friday. Until then, you're stuck with me, but I've had a great time with all of you. Hopefully your Wednesday is going well. Thank you for putting up with me last segment. I really appreciate that. And I couldn't think of a better way to close out the show than one of the most inspirational, one of the most electric, one of the most best human beings that I've got to know here in the state of Michigan since I've been here and since 2001, and I've been in this business since 2004, and I have been very lucky to come across a lot of great people, and a lot of them you've heard on this show with me hosting this week, and this is definitely one of them. The head of Good Fruit Video, and a true inspiration, and a guy that I need to be my hype man 24/7, 365 days a week. I don't know when he slows down, if he ever does. Justin Kane joins us now. Justin, thank you so much for joining me, man. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, man, we're living the dream, man, aren't we?
We are. We're living the dream, man. It's hot out, but you know, I lost electricity this last weekend.
Yeah.
So that was not fun. But
have you had it back? You got it back, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We got it back.
Good.
And the house is back to a good cool temp, and everything's good.
Good. Well, for fans that might not know a little bit about Justin, I want you to tell everybody what you do. I definitely want you to get in, to talk about Good Fruit Video and what that represents. And as a matter of fact, you just started a new website for Good Fruit Video, correct?
Well, yeah. So we've had a website since we started. We're 17 years old, so it's quite an accomplishment.
Yes.
We've been able to work with a lot of amazing organizations throughout the years. We do a lot of stuff with Michigan State University, the Small Business Association of Michigan. One of the things that I really, really, really enjoy is that we've kind of built a brand in the disability arena.
Yes.
And so we actually have a lot of organizations that we work with who are either purely focused on disability or disability adjacent. So, we work with Michigan Rehab Services, Bureau of Services for Blind Persons, and it's just it's a passion of mine, and I'm just so happy to be able to produce impactful videos for excellent organizations, and a lot of them do really amazing things in the community.
Absolutely, and I got to thank you, because being a disabled person myself with cerebral palsy, what you do really touches me in the most fantastical of ways. I mean, I don't know how you keep things straight, my man, with a family life, with your wonderful family. You're going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it looks like. A true inspiration, and I want you to know that. I wanted to say that publicly. And I don't know who paid off who, but for some strange reason, I was lucky enough and honored back in 2024 to be inducted with a Boom Award for Employee of the Year, and I don't know how that happened. There was some money that was transferred that wasn't mine, but man, what a great event that was, and my fellow inductees or award winners as well. It was great to know them, and great to sit down with you in a wonderful setting, and I know I've thanked you for that numerous times since then. But again, I want to thank you for that as well. It's people like you that really motivate me to do what I love to do, and not everybody gets to do that. But man, you're a real inspiration for me, and I appreciate everything you do. And Good Fruit Video has most certainly made an impact here in the area, and it continues to do so. So, and if anybody, what's the website so people can check it out?
Goodfruitvideo.com. We're in the middle of updating everything, so we'll be continuing to get a facelift. But we have done some basic renovations to it. But we have a lot of great stuff. My business partner, Jennifer Sleeper, she is an amazing, brilliant marketing mind, and she's gonna hate that I'm just like gushing on her right now, but she's just doing some amazing stuff, and what's there now is great. What's gonna be there in a month from now is gonna be incredible. So, but
can't wait.
Yeah, I mean. But going back to, you winning the Boom Award and all that kind of stuff, it's people like you that inspire me to do what I do.
Oh.
I'm going to switch it up on you.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I'm very passionate, and I'm sure a lot of people know my backstory, but
let people know. Let people know. Yeah, let people know.
Yeah, I had a cancerous brain tumor hemorrhage when I was 10 years old. It was an astrocytoma for all you people that have a little more knowledge.
For all you doctors out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a grade. It was either grade 3 or 4, which is either the second worst. And so it was pretty incredible. There wasn't a good chance I was going to survive. And when I did, I had to relearn how to walk, talk, swallow, ski, really, all that kind of good stuff. So I've grown up with disabilities, and I've been able to do some pretty great things.
Pretty amazing things. Don't cut yourself short. Pretty amazing. You were one hell of an athlete, and you probably still are. I don't want to. You're probably still one hell of an athlete. I mean, some of the things that you were able to accomplish, and you've been on this show with Jack Ebling, and you've talked about that. But my goodness, I mean, again, inspiration. And I just don't throw that around to anybody. You know what I mean? But you truly are what you've had to go through, as you just explained, and other things, and what you've been able to do, come out on the other side here and be a gold medal athlete, a record-setting athlete in your day, and now being able to do this. I mean, it's amazing stuff, man. There should be a movie made about you. I don't know what actor would. If there was a movie made for you, what actor would you want to play you? How about that question?
Oh man, geez, I don't know.
Thinking like a Brad Pitt or a Tom Cruise, or what are we thinking?
Oh no, man, no. They're too able-bodied for me.
Great answer.
No, man. I don't know. I'd probably want it to be someone with DP or TBI like I have.
Yeah.
That comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah, man. Sure.
I don't want any of those big name people.
No. No. That's what I love about you, man. That's it.
I've always lived as the underdog,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And so I don't want one of those well-known people.
No.
I want someone to come out of the woodwork that was doubted.
Yeah, a little underdog, like you said, the underdog, the guy that's working hard and making his way. Yeah, not that Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise don't work hard. But yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
And, yes.
I mean, I'm sure they work hard,
Yeah.
but there's working hard for people who have all their physical and cognitive and all that kind of stuff working for them, and then there's working hard for people that have been put at a disadvantage in life.
Yes.
The world is not an accessible place. It wasn't built to be accessible, and so as much as we've done to make it accessible, it's still so far from accessible.
Right.
Overall, so anyone that's able to push through despite challenges, whether it be physical or cognitive, mental, learning disability, visual, whatever it is, if they're able to push through and make things happen, I mean, that's a big deal. And that's why I started the Boom Awards, and that's why I really dedicated my adult life to celebrating and uplifting people with disabilities, to say, hey, you can do a lot more than what a lot of people might think you can do.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate. I've always been driven by doubt, but I also know that it's not a common thing for a lot of people. So I wanted to give people that may need to be driven by a little bit of that encouragement, hey, they can go do some things. So yeah, I mean,
outstanding.
And what can I say? I'm living the dream, man.
You most certainly are, my friend. And I don't know about you, but for me, growing up with cerebral palsy, me and my twin brother, as a matter of fact, I'll throw Brian. I hope you're listening. But he's probably not. He's probably doing something more important. But I will say, when someone tells me that I can't do something, boy, that's just not someone with a disability. I don't want to just pigeonhole that. That's probably just anybody, right?
Oh, yeah.
But boy, but you really get that. When you have a disability, you get that. I feel like you get that a lot. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Or people doubt. They don't say, like, you can't do it, but they have doubts that you can. And that really just, pushed me through some hard times. You got to take that as a challenge and not a defeatist.
Oh, yeah.
So and seeing people like yourself and people that I've come across, thanks to you and your connections, it just really it just makes me to see someone else do that as well. I mean, it just makes my day a hell of a lot better than what it was, no matter how good of a day I was having. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, again, throwing it back at you. I mean, Rob, like, it's, I've been able to accomplish a lot, and I feel like I'm kind of beyond that underdog, area. And so really what my passion is now is making sure that I'm finding the next underdogs and helping them get to where they want to be, and then once they get there, going beyond it, and just because like you said, there's a lot of people that will encourage you and everything, but in the back of their minds they're saying, oh, I don't know about this, this guy's. And in fact, I feel like that's kind of the worst situation. I'd rather have someone just come and flat out tell me that they don't think I can do something, and I'll go do it, instead of someone saying, "Oh yeah, we think you can do this," blah blah blah. But then, building an invisible gate around me. Because they believe they're trying to keep me safe or whatnot, but in fact they're actually limiting my potential.
Right.
And and I really want to be someone that helps break down those barriers and it takes one story. It takes, I just want to keep on helping people because, you may help someone and they're
it's life-changing. Life-changing.
Yeah.
Could be life-changing, yes.
It's life-changing for them, but then it also might resonate with a person that and help a person that may see disability as something that is lesser than and change their mind, but it may not for someone else. But maybe another success of someone else that has a different type of disability, will. So, I mean, disability is the only minority group that anyone can become a part of at any time. And if you're lucky enough, anyone that's listening, if you're able-bodied, fully able-bodied, if you're lucky enough to live long enough, you will become disabled. And so the thing is, we really need to just start embracing the diversity of the world and everyone in it. And that definitely includes disability, because there are disabled people in every race, gender, nationality, all that kind of stuff, So
yeah. No, I couldn't say it better myself, my friend. And like I said, you have been at the front of the line for a long time, long before I got here in Michigan. I know that. And you continue to fight the good fight. And again, it's been so inspirational to get to know you, and it's been just cool to know you as well as a person. And I wanted to bring up, and you're just so infectious in a positive way. The positive attitude that you have, that brings me to another person, and that's a little bit newer to Michigan State, and that's the new Michigan State football head coach, Pat Fitzgerald, and his enthusiasm. I would love to get the both of you in a room, because man, how cool would that be?
I would absolutely love that. I was very fortunate to have met and chatted with Coach D'Antonio while he was here, and I'm going to take full responsibility for his success.
That's right.
No, but he's an amazing person.
Yes,
amazing person.
Absolutely.
And I love, and going back to that underdog mentality that I've always had.
That's
in
Michigan
my life.
State football, right? That's Michigan State football.
And that was big time D'Antonio. He'd pull out, 2-star, 1-star, 0-star.
Yep.
I mean, Jack Conklin was a 0-star, and then is number 2 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
He's an All-American now. So, Le'Veon Bell was a 2-star. Trey Waynes was a 2-star.
Yep. Darqueze Dennard. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
Darqueze Dennard. I love Darqueze Dennard. Oh my God, he was my boy. And then, and I love that. Like, I know there's lots of people out there that are like, we want 5 stars, we want 4 stars. That's fine. You take the 5 stars, 4 stars. I want those 2 stars that are hungry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They want it. They want it. They
want to prove
They
it.
may not have any opportunities from anyone else but Michigan State, and so they have so much behind them that to prove everyone wrong, that they're going to go out there, they're going to become an All-American, and then they're going to say, ha, you wouldn't even give me
That's right.
You wouldn't even invite me onto campus,
Yeah.
You wouldn't,
That's right.
Forget even giving me a scholarship. You wouldn't even do any of that. And look at me now, I'm
for sure
scoring the winning touchdown in overtime against your team to win.
in the college football playoff.
I'm making that sack on your quarterback on 4th and 10, or I'm doing a pick 6 and
taking it to the
winning
house.
The game for us, exactly. So I'm like, give me those 2 stars, baby. Give me those 1 star.
Heck yeah, we'll work it out. We're gonna. So when you heard Pat Fitzgerald took the job as Michigan State football coach, what was your first reaction to that? Because the man is infectious. He has most certainly embroiled himself for the short time that he's been here. My goodness, I'm sure you've heard, I'm sure you've read, I'm sure you've seen how he has embroiled himself in the green and white, and most certainly been part of the fabric of Michigan State now, and it didn't take him long to do so. So how excited are you for Pat Fitzgerald to lead this football program?
Man, I am very excited. I think he got a really raw deal from back in the day, and all that stuff has run its course, and he came out the other side looking pretty. So I say let's go. This was an opportunity we were kind of handed an amazing opportunity to get a great coach that was not on the sideline somewhere.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen a lot.
No.
So I say bring him in and let's get it done. I love how many recruits he's already had just like signed.
He's hit the ground running, that's for sure.
He did, and never read the comments, because the comments, Facebook and all that stuff.
Social media, who needs that? Who needs it?
All these bullies behind the
keyboard warriors.
Screen.
Yeah, the keyboard warriors. Yeah. They think everybody thinks they know. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, and I'll tell you what, the people that make the comments, none of them do know. And that's why they're making the comments, because they're trying to make themselves relevant, because they don't really know.
Yeah.
So never read the comments. But man, I'm just so excited. I know we lost a lot of people to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the guys that came in.
Sure.
And again, the keyboard warriors are yelling that, great.
Well, what's great about what's great about Pat Fitzgerald too, and this is just from an outsider looking in as well. I mean, So, but the great thing, obviously, is enthusiasm. He loves football, right? I mean, he's just.
Yep.
But you mentioned, I mean, because of what happened at Northwestern, which he was fully exposed of. We'll make that clear. He was away from the game, at least the college game, for 2 years. So he got to sit back and watch this whole NIL and all these pay-for-play scenarios and figure it out and things of that nature. As I give you a Coach D'Antonio quote there, things of that nature. But you got to believe after 2 years, Justin, not only will the team have a chip on their shoulder because they want to prove that they belong and get back to where they think they should be, but for Pat Fitzgerald, the football coach, you got to believe he's going to have a chip on his shoulder coming back after a 2-year absence, and I think that's nothing but a positive. I think that's nothing but a positive for the green and white.
Oh no, I love that chip. I think. The chip on your shoulder is what really is it. I think it has a lot more value to it than a lot of people believe, because I mean, a chip on your shoulder, if you're not an athlete or a competitor or that kind of stuff, a chip on your shoulder, sometimes people get doubted and they just back off, or they crumble, but when you're an athlete, when you're a competitor, you get doubted. Just like I was saying about my stuff.
For sure.
Get doubted, and then you go and you prove them wrong, and then you prove them wrong, and then you prove them wrong. And then you prove them wrong.
Again and again and again. And again. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then and that's what you do. And I mean, and so I think that is I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so
and
excited. Why isn't it October right now?
Well, and I'll tell you this, no matter what the record is in this first season, and I know everybody's got a record. Oh, they're going to win this game. Oh, they're going to win that game. Oh, they're going to lose this game. Oh, there's no chance in this game. We don't really know. I mean, we can take educated guesses just like anybody else. And yes, being in the sports talk and the sports media realm, we do get a little bit more insight than the average fan does. Obviously, it's one of the perks. It's part of the job. But no one really knows. But I can guarantee you this for Pat Fitzgerald and this Michigan State football team. I will come out and say this. No matter what the record is, right? Wins, losses, but they are going to play their asses off. And they will be ready to play every single Saturday no matter who the opponent is.
Oh yeah.
And they will play, and they will make mistakes, right? Like every team, there's mistakes are going to happen, but they will be able to.
You got to remember, these are kids.
Yes.
Still,
yes.
Right.
And so
they're well built kids, but they're still kids.
They're mountains and kids. Yeah, some of them.
Right.
But like I said, they will be ready to play, and they will play their asses off, no matter if it's the first minute of the first quarter or the last minute of the fourth quarter. They will be ready to play, and they will have enthusiasm and a new kind of attitude, positive attitude for Michigan State football, no matter what the score is at the end of the game or no matter what the record is at the end of the season.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? You know what, Rob? I would rather watch Michigan State play their asses off and lose a game than go up by so much and just like
lollygag,
and let the other people kind of like, you know, throw up some points and maybe get it a little bit closer than you're comfortable with.
Right.
There are wins that I would rank lower in games I enjoyed than losses.
Yeah,
and
sure.
That's because it's about effort. The game is a game. I mean, it's not dictated, right? There's going to be crazy things that happen. There's going to be mistakes. We're humans, believe it or not. Everyone makes mistakes. I mean, even AI makes mistakes, man. Come on now.
Don't get me. We're getting close to the end of the show. Don't get me going on AI. That's a whole other. That's a whole other podcast, my friend. We can talk about. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So, but I mean, if the scoreboard is the least important thing to me about watching a game.
Yeah.
What I want to see is I want to see effort.
Yep.
I don't want to spend my time watching someone put in half effort or
lay down.
Go in the towel, just lay down.
Right.
You know what? They could be down 45,
but if they're playing,
if they're still playing hard and they're smashing the people, because you know what? Because you know what? If they lose, but the other team wakes up and everyone's sore.
Yeah.
And
when you play Michigan State, like back in the 60s and the 50s and when D'Antonio was there, whether you won or lost, the other team knew they played Michigan State and they were in for a hell of a fight. Yeah, you're going to get hit. You're going to feel
black
it.
Eye.
Yeah, you're going to feel it. Yeah, sure.
You might get a W, but you're going to have a black eye.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're going to earn that. You're going to earn the win. That's for sure.
Right.
Yes.
That's
like the great Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool would say, maximum effort, right?
Exactly.
Maximum effort. And that's what you're going to get. And that's what you're going to get from Michigan State football. And that's what we get from Justin Kane every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You are a true treasure, my friend. Maximum effort all the time, every time. Thank you so much for coming on the show to end the show. I couldn't think of a more positive way to end the show on a Wednesday than with you, my friend. Thank you so much for taking time out.
Bob, thank you for inviting me, man.
Absolutely. We will have you on again before football season and it's going to be October before you know it. Just hang in there, my friend.
All right. It's hot out right now. So.
Just close your eyes, meditate a little bit. It'll be October before you know it. I promise you. Have a good rest of your day, man.
All right. You too, Rob. Take care.
Justin Kane, Good Fruit Video. Make sure to check out their new website. It's under construction right now. They're doing some great upgrades, but make sure to check it out. Nevertheless, some great work that Justin has been doing for over 17 years now. and most certainly is a gold medal athlete and a great friend. And I'm happy to say that for me and for a lot of people around this area as well. This has been a great show, great time with all of you on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for putting up with me today. Had some great conversation with some great guests. Really appreciate all of you listening whenever you do. And here on Facebook, once again, I got to give a wave to all my Facebook peeps out there. I know you've been watching. I appreciate you looking at my ugly mug for a little over 2 hours now. And I will be back with you tomorrow in the hot seat on a great Thursday, hopefully. And then Jack, the Hall of Fame host that you know and love on this show, will be back on Friday. And as we get closer and closer to what will hopefully be a great weekend for everybody. But again, thank you to all my guests today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all for listening. And I can't wait to talk with all of you tomorrow beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, everybody have a great night. Be kind to one another. This is Boston Rob signing off. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Be safe. Be kind. Have a great night.